Hey everyone, hope everyone is doing okay. And yeah, reading some of the comments here already. Matt. We were thinking about trying to get something going, but Wi-Fi was not possible. So no, sorry guys. No, no, Matt today. He's busy with some other stuff. But yeah, we were trying to see if we could work something out. But anyway, just you know, doing his stuff, as some of you guys comment here as well. Last weekend, that was Easter, so spending time with family and so on. Um, but I just want to let you guys know about that. So, Matt, last gap was 3 days ago. Pick of sailboat sailing away. Exactly. Um, Long time no see, guys. Yeah, I'll try to do these. Um, I mean, I try to do these every weekend, and of course, when Matt's around, that's great. But I don't want to leave you guys hanging. Just see the comments, talk a little bit about what's going on. I was just reading now about the news from France. Macron winning the election and beating Le Pen. I don't know if they're really all that different. It's supposed to be that Macron is I mean, Macron used to be an employee of one of those families that we cannot mention anymore, and Le Pen is something of the same thing. So not all that different. Um, but anyway, that's from France. I was also checking out about Beijing, how this goes on still. Tyranny has its way, whatever excuse there is, anything is good enough to force people into submission. And you know China would be one of those places. People used to taking it up and just taking any kind of abuse. And I don't know if there's a breaking point, because whenever, and this is something we were talking with Matt last time we spoke here in the channel, about how when people start starving, that's usually when you have a revolution, right? Now, at the same time, if you look at North Korea, those people are always starving, and there's no revolution there in North Korea. So it has to be a combination of things. It has to be reaching a point of a breaking point where people are really desperate and hungry, or even when we see what happened in Ireland during the famine, that was weaponized famine, starving people to death until you reduce the population to the point where you want. So for those people, and we're talking about millions of people starved to death, or in Ukraine with Holodomor. Holodomor was what, like 4 million people starved to death by the commies. And it's not always the case that people rise and overthrow a tyrannical government just because they're starving. There needs to be some leadership, some form of something for people to rally behind. And someone needs to be leading people, and there has to be that will. If there's no will to fight, there's even when starving to death, I think that's not going to be enough, right? So yeah, ranting as always. Let me go through some of the comments. Will Matt be streaming today? No. Are we want yeah. Epic series, broken my dominant wrist. Hey, Faith RV trip. Sorry for that, man. I'm sure that sucks. Broke your wrist? Never broke I broke my fingers. Which one? Well, I broke these two here playing rugby when I was a kid many years ago. It actually, these two came out of place and apparently broke then my coach just did like this, crack, put them back in place. And the guy that did the x-ray said that he broke the fingers when he pulled on them like that. I think that's unlikely, but anyway, never broke an arm though. Always like fingers and stuff like that. Kicking or punching stuff apparently is not good for your fingers. Well done. We know. Okay, what's up, freaks? To wait till Pat O'Connor. What's up, freaks? Tell Fernando to wait till I get a beer. Be right back. Okay, man. You have all the time in the world. Don't worry. I'm gonna be here for for a while. About an hour, just checking some of the stuff going on and commenting with you guys. Yeah. No beer here. I have just my Star Citizen cup, which I'm still pretty much of a fan of, liking it a lot. Good example of I'm really into it right now. A game that's not even released yet that made over, what is it, 450 million in people supporting it. Um, every single time Matt was here, it was stated on the title. Yes, of course, I try to do that. I actually, it was on. Uh, I had the title with Matt just a few seconds, but right then I got the email that he wasn't going to be making it. It was already a question about it, if he was around or not, or he got Wi-Fi or not. But yeah, howdy, Fairfell. Thanks, Scott Hummer. How are you guys doing? Putin is a victim of a 30-year conspiracy to take over the world. Okay. Yeah. He has to be the victim, right? Putin has to be the victim of some conspiracy. I was also watching. That man is probably sick. There's a video. Let me know in the comments if you saw it. There's a video where he's being interviewed or something where he's holding a table and tapping. He's not looking good, man. I think he's sick. He has something going on there. He's holding a table, maybe Parkinson, because usually when someone has problems keeping his hand from trembling, I've seen some older folks put it in the pocket, put the hand in the pocket, so as to try to hide that. Or what Putin is doing there, like holding the table as if, dude, you're not going to be falling. You're just sitting down in a table. Why are you holding onto that table like that? So something is going on with the man, apparently, and the tapping of the foot. I don't know. Just a few things that seem quite off. My favorite part of Sunday, awesome. No, Macron won. Yes, he apparently did. It really changes nothing. All of these guys are pretty much the same. No way those fires would all happen at the same time in rapid fire without somebody committing arson purposeful. Where is that? I haven't seen that. Fires. Release the bracket. Ferfal, what do we have to look forward to from your experiences with currency the devaluation in Argentina? Jim Hale, man, it is. I mean, it's. You're looking at very hard times. That's something I cover all the time in the channel, and my work, my books, and so on. But the consequences of what you're seeing already happened. What already happened means that there's going to be poverty going up steadily for the next few years. And I mean, we can. I'm all for the conspiracy theory, right? And some of the conspiracy theory is not theory anymore. It's just conspiracy. So is this all part of the plan? Well, according to World Economic Forum, it is, because they said so right away in their 2033 prediction of the world. You'll own nothing and be happy. You'll only eat meat as a rare luxury. All of those things that they predicted, well, not predicted, but warned us that they were going to be doing eventually, I guess. That would be more accurate, I think. But all of those things are actually happening. And I mean, if you follow the channel, you know what I think, and you know what I've been posting. The Cargill family, which is one of the elite families in the food industry, they've doubled their fortune. How the fuck is it that these people doubled their fortunes in a few months, while at the same time the entire world is seeing inflation like never before? Well, because that's part of it. That is actually one of the things that they get off it. Just like with the pandemic, pharmaceuticals and the elite. And when you look at pharmaceuticals, it's not just pharmaceuticals. It's all the companies that benefit from all of this, from the tech companies, the retail online stores like Amazon, that while the small stores die away. And I'll say this as well. I work through Amazon. If it wasn't for Amazon, I wouldn't be able to do any of the things I do. And it's not just me, because that would be pretty shitty of me to just look at my own situation and my own reality. But there's a number of people and entrepreneurs that, through different tech media, including Amazon, they managed to make businesses that otherwise would not exist. So, you know, just like in Disney, is it bad that you have damn Mickey Mouse and Disneyland? Or the problem with that is that they're trying to go with a very evil agenda and messing with things that were never supposed. It used to be that Disney was about making movies and theme parks. When is it that it became about, mutilating little children and supporting sexual depravity like some satanic organization? When is it that that happened? It wasn't that way before. I mean, this, I feel damn old because it used to be that Disney was conservative. Disney was a company that would not even allow their employees to have mustaches. And, the sexual depravity that you see now from Disney, that wasn't before. It wasn't that way before. I can guarantee you that. But, evil forces at play, I guess, man. It's just the way it is. Puna's hangover from vodka. I don't think he drinks much. I think he's a guy that takes very good care of himself. All gotta go chain the laundry around. Such an entertaining life here. LOL. Yeah, well, we all have that stuff to deal with. The original OSOC. Fairfell, the fires at the food plants here in U.S. Isn't this on your radar? I haven't seen it. No, no idea. But are they intentional? Could well be. I have no idea. But food prices are going through the roof, and again, stuff that I've talked about before. But it's not all inflation the same. It's not the same if fuel goes up, if the price of food goes up, if the price of other things of luxury vehicles or things that are not of basic necessity. Those things affect people in a much greater degree. If you look at what you learn from developing nations or third world countries, poor nations, it is usually those things that are horribly expensive. I mean, till this day, you will find that in many of the poorest Latin American countries, some of the basic staples are even more expensive than in the United States. How is it possible that the cost of food is more expensive in a country like Argentina that produces more than enough of its own food than in the United States? I'm talking about in US dollars. How is it that it's more expensive in US dollars to buy food in Argentina than in the United States? And yeah, you have to look at specific types of food. It's not all the same. I'm sure if you stick to the very basic essentials, it would be cheaper in Argentina. But anything that's slightly processed, man, those prices just kill you. Macron reelected. Now they have full oil embargo on Russia. The oil embargo thing is, I mean, it's still not happening. Germany is still buying energy from Russia, and the rest of Europe is as well. So this is what I meant in some of the previous videos regarding Ukraine had no friends in any significant position. All of those meetings before the latest invasion, where you had Macron talking with Putin, and just before the attacks and the invasion, the full-scale invasion started, that was what they were talking about. Yes, I'm going to be invading. Screw you. That was basically it. Oh, but come on, no, don't be so mean. Wait a little bit longer. Wait until the elections. And this is something that Trump warned in the famous video that you probably saw. Trump warned the presidents and prime ministers of Europe about, hey, you're not fulfilling your obligations in NATO. You're not doing enough to defend yourselves, and you're buying energy from Russia. What is this? I mean, what's the point of you being part of NATO and depending on Russia for energy? And you saw the guys from Germany and the rest of Europe like, oh yeah, well, it is what it is. Screw that. It's not, these are not stupid people. This is not an accident. They knew that this could happen at any moment, but As long as it's not their assets on the line, they don't give a damn. I mean, it's all, of course, it's cheaper to buy energy from Russia, whatever, ways of producing energy, polluting the environment, all that crap that's supposed to be important. It's just over there. Same with China. You buy stuff made in China using slave labor, having horrible violations of essential human rights, but it's all over there. Disney, Apple, no one gives a damn. They just pretend to care over here, but their money is invested there. So it's all a scam, really. Anyway, yeah, again, ranting with these things. Seems all elections are rigged across the world and happen. Tammy Davis. It is rigged into the. Is it rigged to the point where when you have two candidates that really are not going to be changing a thing, if they're not going to be changing a thing, what's the point of voting for one or the other? Yes, Marine Le Pen was supposed to be the one that was going to be, anti-European Union and bringing France out of the European Union. It wasn't going to be happening either way. Even if she won, she was going to be changing her tune a little bit, and it's not the same case as in UK, where there was a lot of investment and a lot of interest in getting them out of it, because, well, a huge part of that was financed. And if you followed Brexit at any point, you know that a lot of that was financed with the famous Russian oligarch money. It is a way in which it's the interests of Russia were precisely on getting UK out of the European Union. And it succeeded as well. It was also in the interest of your elite, looking at the owner of Sky, who's the owner of Fox Media as well, the royal family, Berkeley brothers, the banking. So you had a lot of people that wanted to have their own little separate thing where it was kept more hush hush in terms of what was done with the money over there. So that was part of the interest. Knockface, thanks, man, again for a super chat. Much appreciated. Fairfall, big story this week is Governor Ron DeSantis cracking down on Disney tax status. Now Exxon is banning LGBTQ, whatever the hell that is, flags and slogans. Hopefully, this is the start of a major corporate pushback. What say you? I really liked Ron DeSantis. I think he makes a lot of sense in most of the things he says. He is extremely articulate, and he makes a lot of sense whenever I hear him. I mean, it gets to a point where you just become, you just disbelieve anything. But I think it would be pretty cool if Ron DeSantis, was elected president of the United States. I've been burned so many times already that you kind of become disheartened and don't believe on any politician, right? And I think that's the safest thing to do, not trust any politician much. But I think that Ron DeSantis is a pretty good option. I mean, if he ends up president of the United States, I think it's going to be great, not only for you guys, but for the rest of the, this is very karma of me, but I think that what's good for anyone in the West is going to be great for us all. So if the United States ends up with a president like Ron DeSantis, who's going to be putting somewhat of a stop to this madness of the left, because it's all the same thing. When you look at it, it's all the same thing. The liberals' left-wing agenda in the United States, if you look at BLM, how the hell is it that BLM is interconnected with Venezuela? Venezuela is interconnected with Russia and China and the rest of the damn commies in South America. You guys don't even know about it, but in Chile, there's a war going on in Chile. And it's because of these commies attacking farms, homesteads, wherever it is outside the cities. The so-called Mapuche, like, the original Native American, that's all crap. That's all bullshit. It's all lies. There's no terrorist Native American anything. That's all from the left, creating these left-wing violent armed organizations that are attacking people left and right and just creating chaos and murdering people, burning farms, and creating instability in the region. It is not accidental. Anyone that thinks this is all just a coincidence, that the RAM or CAM or whatever variant of the of terrorist disguised as Native Americans attacking right now in different countries in South America, if you think that's all just it just happened, no, it didn't. This is all financed from Venezuela, China, Russia, all of these, the axis of the left. Someone was saying a previous, those are not the, yes, they are the left. That's commie, left-wing, socialist, Marxist crap. It is anti-West, anti-liberty and freedom. If you look at China, it's a communist country. It has one party, which is the Communist Party of China. If you look at Russia, you have the president of Russia is Vladimir Putin, who is a former KGB asset. How more commie than you get that can you possibly get that? No, but they're not communists. Yes, they are. And the fact that they have a lot of money, all commies have a lot of money. You know how they make money? That's what makes them commies in the first place. They steal it from the people. No commie ever had a decent, honest job. All of them. Just look around. Works for Putin, works for Xi, works for Maduro, works for Chavez, works for Cristina Kirchner in Argentina, and every other damn commie you can point your finger at. None of them ever had an honest job. And if they had one, they sucked at it and they just got themselves into the public force, and that's where they started climbing that ladder, because they are not productive people. They're not creative. They are the losers that without a left-wing government, they would not succeed at anything, let alone amass fortunes they all have. And they're all damn rich. They are all as rich as you could possibly be. In Cuba, same thing. Fidel Castro and the daughters and sons of Fidel, all of them with mansions in the United States, all over the world, huge fortunes, living like kings, while the rest of the island is starving and but you always, and you know what? You always have true believers. You have commies. I mean, I've talked with some people that I just want to grab them by the head and start shaking until some of those poor, brain cells aligned. No, Fernando, you don't get it. Cuba is fantastic. They have great medical care in Cuba. Fantastic education. Are you stupid? Those people are starving. Women have to become prostitutes to make a few bucks and feed their own children. And it's not a matter of choice. Those people are really starving. It's a disaster of a nation. It's a disaster of a country. Cuba, Venezuela, same thing. You have any idea the misery and poverty that people suffer in Venezuela? How they have to find ways which you wouldn't believe. You have to become extremely resourceful in a place like that, because you're bled by the communists in government. These left-wing tyrannical governments just bleed the people alive. Anyway, yeah. Sorry for the longish rant. Hey, thanks a lot for the super chat, guys. The original, oh yes, okay, still love my perforator knife. Did you talk about the U.S. food plant fires? I had to step away for a few minutes looking purposefully to me. It may well be, and you know what? This would be one of those things that is used to, you know what? Food prices going up? Well, Putin fires all excuses. This just works in justifying what they're already planning on doing. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's all on purpose and just yet another way to justify the price hikes that they already have in mind. DeSantis people also banned school books that had CRT hitting in them. Yes, Pat, long rhyme fan of Mr. Greg Hunter. They are creating chaos on purpose worldwide. Well, Jeff Brooks, yes, and this is something that was also mentioned in the World Economic Forum by the infamous Klaus Schwab, where he was saying that the world is going to be suffering. It's going to be going through chaos, and it's with this chaos that is a great opportunity to has to have a great reset. The great reset is because of the chaos going on in the world. So the more chaos there is, and the more you make people believe there's chaos in the world, then it works in their favor. And are things complicated? Yeah, for sure. Is the world burning entirely? No. Both things are true. So it's a matter of balancing and being objective. I can look at specific things and say, yes, inflation is going to be pretty bad, and many countries are going to be going through hard times, some more than others. And in those specific countries, people that were already in a vulnerable economic position are going to be suffering even more. And people that are even more resourceful will probably find ways of, even thriving as things get worse, as is always the case. I've seen it in Argentina. I've seen it after studying in other countries as well, similar events. And this is the story of the world. A crisis creates opportunity, even for even for people that are not evil and creating the crisis themselves on purpose. But if you are resourceful, if you are creative, if you find opportunities during complicated times, yes, you will find ways of rising above that. Michael Rosales, yeah, Ron's cool. He's been trying to get the Congress to constitutional carry. Trump didn't speak up about that. He banned bump stocks. Well, yes, that's also true. Trump was supposed, but I remember Trump from the time that he was a Democrat. Again, older over here, but I remember when Trump was a Democrat from New York. In fact, when he was running for president, he said that he financed Hillary Clinton because that was the way in which he got favors from them. He literally said, and this is a clip that I saw on YouTube, this is literally what Trump said. He said that he gave money to the Clintons because that's how he got them to do the things that he needed. So you cannot be all that surprised. And yes, he did ban bump stocks. And he said, and there's a very nasty clip, I don't know if you remember, from it's Feinstein sitting right next to him, and Trump is saying, you don't have to be afraid of the NRA. You just ban whatever you want. And she was like, all giggly, very nasty looking woman. But yeah, he's not exactly. And you have to understand, Trump is a man that was always part of this, the famous swamp. Dude, he's a elite guy from New York, rich from the moment he was born, beyond what most people could ever dream, and that's his world. You think he's gonna be giving much of a damn about you and your bump stock and your guns? As long as it serves his purposes, yeah, sure. Or in the same thing, what happened with January 6th, when people thrown in jail over that. Where's Trump defending those people? I don't know. I wish he had something to say about that. And the woman that was slaughtered, murdered in the Capitol, apparently everyone forgot about her. And she was a woman that did nothing wrong. She just walked into a building and was shot in the head for it. And nothing. The man that shot her, BLM believer. Anyway. Nicolas, the Washington Post said that Javier Milei can win the next Argentine elections. It's very unlikely. Milei has a lot of support, and he's slowly wising up to some of the things that he should, but I don't think he has enough to win the elections. A lot of the things he says I like. Some of the things he says are kind of that's it sounds great, but it's impossible to implement that. But Milei would be one of the one of the guys that is standing against all the commies in Argentina. Senate 62 by 39 is going higher due to Russia ammo ban. Well, again, anything is good. So as to, I mean, yes, this would be one of those cases where yes, If you're buying Russian ammunition and Russian ammunition is either being used in Ukraine by the freaking Russians themselves and it's not being imported anymore, yeah, I guess you will see prices going up. But why is it that you didn't have plenty of that already? Commies are a basic POS subhumans. Yes, they are. And again, as I was saying before, I've come across people that are really true believers in that communism has never been done right. Oh, you don't get it. Russia was great until we screwed it up, or Cuba is fantastic, but those damn Americans always, with embargoes and this and that. If it wasn't for the Americans, Cuba would be great. No, it wouldn't. Cuba is a piece of crap in the world because of the communist dictator running it. Unfortunately for Cubans, that's the way it is. And that's why Cubans jumping to the freaking ocean trying to swim away from that. Whenever you have people jumping walls and dodging machine gun fire and mines and barbed wire, may that be from Cuba, from North Korea, whatever other commie damn hole you can think of, there's always a reason for that. It's because no one wants to live through that. Okay. And there's different stages of that. If you look at Venezuela, maybe you don't have a wall surrounding the country, but there's already an economic war, an economic wall around the country because people cannot afford to leave the country even if they want. So if you're making, if you need like 10 years of a minimal wage of Venezuela, so as to buy one passport, let alone, it's impossible for the average Venezuelan or even the above average Venezuelan. It's impossible for them to buy a passport and a plane ticket, let alone finance a trip abroad. They just are stuck there unless they walk through the border. And that's what a lot of people end up doing anyway. They walk out of that country. Why? Because it's a socialist hellhole that has no future. And Argentina is becoming a little bit like that more and more each day, unfortunately. And there's weak people. I know one that voted for Cristina Kirchner, and I look, are you kidding me? You voted for the woman? Yes, but at that time I was dating this chick that she was, are you stupid? You vote based on who you're dating? I mean, I could just beat you to death right now. And that's how people sometimes think. And can you get mad? Yeah, sure. Your blood pressure is going to be good. I had my blood pressure checked recently. It's all fine. So fortunately, it's all good. But there's people that just roll that way. There's people that have that in their heads. They're not capable of independent thinking, and they just vote whoever is they're with or whatever, easily influenced. That's another one. The way people are influenced by the media left and right is unbelievable. I mean, it's not that it's unbelievable. That's the reason why they're doing it. But it's kind of depressing. From work beer to home beer, Pat, you have to let go of that beer. You probably go doing Sons of Fidel, some even become presidents. Yes, John's son. Yes, of course, yeah, the famous one in Canada, right? That is one of those conspiracy theories that if you put those two pictured together, some say Le Pen was a Putin puppet. I don't know if she was financed by Russia, like many politicians in Europe, and it happens to be a coincidence that the politicians that Russia finances are the ones that are anti-Europe or anti-European Union, actually. Yeah, and that's simply because of a fact that Russia does not want any European Union at all. You may think, and again, how effective the social engineering is, how effective the propaganda is. The idea that you're going to be stronger on your own in this world, you're fucking stupid if you think that being the little fish in the world that's being led by the big fish, it just doesn't work that way. As much as you can despise all the woke liberal nonsense going on in different countries, and because of that, you have that in the European Union as well. But if you think that having a bunch of tiny nations incapable of defending themselves is going to be making you stronger and capable of defending yourself against something like Russia, you're damn mad. No, not at all. Babbitt, yeah, yeah, so sad. Ashley Babbitt. That poor woman had no justice. She saw no justice, and nothing, even from Trump. Would it have been that much to ask for him to make a statement in her support? Something, anything. That woman was butchered in that building, and apparently no one cares. All of the January 6th people. It is incredible what's been done to those people. It's insane. Still in jail. I think we're gonna still get like Czech ammo. Yeah, probably it's probably good as well. People obsessed over Russian 762 by 39. Dude, there's a bunch of other manufacturers as well. I get it, Russia, and it used to be it was a lot cheaper too. So when you in the good old days when you bought crates of this stuff, which was good stuff, good decent ammo. I mean, it was never fantastic. Anything from Russia, the quality is so, but the price was the most attractive thing of it. I no longer have an AK, only ARs now, so not an issue for me. 5.56, plenty available. Yeah, yeah, sure. I would still like an AK is a very cool gun to have. It's super reliable, easy to fix. Canada no different. Pat Kingston in jail. Yes, yes. Sister Tenacious. Absolutely. And why is that? I mean, you have a guy like Trudeau, which is a left wing, son of son of Fidel. I mean, I don't know the genetics, but in his mind, yeah. Fer, do you know the SEAL Chad Wright? What do you think of him? I have no idea, man. Sorry, no idea what that's about. The original OSOC. Yes, things here in the U.S. are bad in many ways and getting worse yet. We all just talk about it and do some local things and plan and wring our hands. Yeah, and it's again one of the more concerning things is that you have a president right now that it's a shell of a man. He's really just a man that should be in a home, sitting there and mumbling at the TV. I mean, we're all gonna be that. If we're lucky, we're all gonna be that age and then some. But he's not capable of being the president of the United States. That man is incapable of looking after himself, let alone be the president of any country. So what you have now is a shell that you have people pulling the strings behind him, and you have mostly by the left wing politics of U.S. using him as a puppet. So they're getting out, the stuff that you're seeing, or what we're talking about DeSantis just now, women sports being destroyed by the left. You have these guys that just swim against women and ruin the lives of young women trying to compete, get a scholarship, and after so much sacrifice, a guy just shows up, says, "Oh yeah, now I'm a woman." I'm beating your ass now. And that's what they get away with. Biden, we have Kamala. And Kamala Harris, that woman is not well. She may not be a senile old man like Biden, but Kamala Harris just has nothing in that head of hers. She is just, she's just stupid. That woman is not capable of anything. She starts she's so dislikable. But besides that, she's not smart. She's not skilled in anything other than maybe what she did in the bedroom at some point so as to get where she got. But other than that, even if you have her as president, I don't think she hasn't got any leadership on her at all. Just like old Joe, when let me know, guys, in the comments there. Did you see that clip where Biden is trying to get the attention of Obama at a meeting, a party, and he's Barack, and Barack Obama is like, "Hey, leave me alone, old man." That was just sad to watch. Anyway, Without Biden, we have Kamala. Yes, that's. I think that the people that were really pushing for these two, I think they got more than they bargained because now they have Biden that's just one step away from going to another reality, and you have Kamala Harris, who people cannot bear to watch for more than a minute or so. She's impossible. Kamala is capable enough to get where she is, says Tammy Davis. You know what? No, she's not, Tammy. She's not. She was placed there. She was handpicked because she's a woman of a certain color. And yeah, she slept her way up to where she got, but as a vice president, she was placed there. She was selected because they needed, literally, they said this. We need a minority looking woman, and that's how she got there. But her trips to Europe are disgraceful, shameful. She's not able to have any thoughts that make any sense. She just says stupid stuff, one word after the other. It's just impossible. Kamala is capable enough to get no. She really is not. She has no political ability. I mean, she can barely speak. We have to do the things we need to keep on doing so as to keep doing them things that we are supposed to do. We'll keep doing them. Do I sound like a vice president of any freaking country? Really? No. And the same thing with Joe Biden. I mean, Joe Biden at a time he could have been a good, a good follower, a good Robin for Obama, right? In that position, but in a position of leadership, and especially at this age, man, no. Anyway, at least I don't see it. The Vz58 rifle is check as well. Yes, and a great rifle, by the way. If you can get, I really wish I had one of those Vz58s. They're pretty nice. And they're not AK. They're kind of AK looking, and people confuse them with it. But it's a striker fire rifle. It's forged receiver, and it's super accurate and very reliable as well. More reliable so than an AK. So that's one of those sleepers out there. Vz58. Check it out if you can get yourself one. I think the magazines are a little bit more difficult to get hold of, but do they use AK mag? I don't think they share the mags with AKs. No. My buddies and I would buy 762 by 51 buy pallets for our FALs. Those days are long gone, man. Yeah, yes, they are. This Ukraine war really shows who are really right-wing conservative and who are just Putin puppets. Many right-wing politicians openly support Putin. Never trust them again. War also exposes Russia. Yes, absolutely. And there's money involved. Let's be honest. Yeah, Putin has a lot of money. Elon Musk said himself that Putin is considerably richer than he is. Considerably richer than he is. And you have DeSantis, had his opinion. Again, DeSantis talking about Putin, calling him a gas station dictator. More brownie points for DeSantis. The U.S. is reopening 8 old World War II ammo factories. Makes you wonder. Yeah, well, it could be a number of things. Demand of ammunition going through the roof. People buying more and more. Ammunition has been in short supply for a very long time. So it is time that they start making more of it. People are buying more ammunition. Definitely more ammunition is needed, especially in these times of instability. And yes, of course, people making money out of war. Yeah, it's the oldest trick in the book, but doesn't mean that war is not coming either way. I think there's going to be something more in that specific region and all agreed on, and that's why everyone is pretending to look the other way while all of this is happening. Yes, that Obama visit thing was pathetic and shows the real situation. Yeah, well, probably Obama has more control over what's happening in the United States than, that's something we talk about with Matt, how Obama probably is pulling more of those strings than than we think. Yes, Biden belongs in a long-term care facility. Some say Bill Clinton died last year. Hillary looks like a clone in recent photos from. No one wants to clone Hillary Clinton. That is, I don't know how much money it would take for convincing any. Imagine being an evil, doctor, and someone said, "Hey, I have Hillary here. Can we clone her?" There's limits to everything, man. But yeah, who knows? There's probably some lunatic out there would. Some say, yeah. Uh, God, look, Mr. Success always. Salam. Yeah. Well, guys, this is what when I get spam like this. Exactly. No normal person. Open southern border thoughts. Tammy Davis, the southern border has been open for a very long time, right? It's and no one really addressed that. There's and to be completely honest, it would be super easy to solve. You just don't let people hire anyone that's illegally in the country, and you put sanctions to anyone that does, and that really cuts it at the source. If any company that hires someone that's illegally in the country, you has some serious fines, and their business is at risk, or ends up getting closed because they hired illegals. But you know what? Illegals are cheap to hire, so it's good for business at the end of the day. So it's great to talk about all of this, but actually doing something for real to stop it, no, that's not something we're going to be doing. You can put 5.56 in the VZ and 7.62. You can modify, yeah, depending on the gun you have. There's VZ and 5.56. Yes, absolutely. When is Matt coming back? I don't know. Probably soon, but he's doing his thing. Sister Tenacious, thanks for the super chat, man. I sometimes miss these. Thanks, Fernando, for your channel. It's the best. Thank you. MSB 9021. Happy Sunday, everyone. Again, man, thank you for the super chat as well. Thank you, guys. Honestly, thank you for the support in the channel here. I've been doing the channel for a very long time. It's been many years now. And, these would be the years in which things have really accelerated in how much they've deteriorated for everyone in the United States and the rest of the world as well. But the economy, what someone was asking before, you're going to be seeing a lot more poverty, and that involves the things that I talk about here on the channel all the time. More poverty means more misery, more crime, more violence, and especially when you have a politically motivated, polarized, divided society, even more so. So it's not gonna be getting better anytime soon. Rather the opposite. You're looking at wanting to be in places where politicians like DeSantis, at least to some extent, have your back, or as much as they can, because it is still one country, right? So there's a limit to that as well. But getting ready for much harsher economic times, making more money any way you get yourself to do that. Starting one of the things I always recommend is starting your own business. Whatever it is. Even if you have a main day job, and I know that some people work themselves to death, but it's not so much about working yourself to death, but working smarter, being more efficient with your time. How much money are you making per time invested working? Well, maybe that's something that needs to be looked into. Maybe getting yourself some other job that pays better, or maybe investing in yourself with having more, maybe there's classes or more education you can get so as to achieve and go for a better paying job, or getting paid better in your current job because you have something more to offer, becoming more valuable to a company, being in a company that appreciates and rewards that kind of effort that you make. And if you're in one that doesn't, maybe it's time to look around and change. But it's gonna be tough, right? It's gonna be tough for everyone. Cutting expenses as much as you can. People buy so much crap that they don't need. This is something I see all the time, especially in the United States. This is very much something that you guys do a lot. Is buying stuff just because. And sometimes it's I mean, sometimes it's even difficult to live in a house that's full of crap. I'm not the perfect example because my wife's going to be looking at this, it's going to be throwing me something. But yeah, talking about throwing some, but before I get sidetracked with that, it's not nice to live in a messy place. And many times people have a bunch of crap that they don't actually need, and they spend money that would be better put elsewhere, invested in something that's going to be creating some revenue for you, or invested in things that are going to be improving your position, invested in starting maybe your own little business of some kind, even if it's just opening an eBay store and selling stuff you find in garage sales or flea markets. Even something as simple as that, it may become an extra stream of income for you that makes a difference. So appreciation is huge in a company. Yeah, Josh. Oh, it is. There was this guy that retired in a company I was reading from in pasta company in Argentina, small store. Guy had been working there for 50 years, and when he retired, the owners of the company gave him a brand new car. A new car as besides whatever, right, his retirement. He got a car from that's the kind of thing that shows that it's good gestures of good people that have these values that are apparently lost. Now think about that for a second. A small pasta store in Argentina has a guy working there for 50 years. The day he retires, the family that owns the company gifts him a brand new car as a sign of appreciation. Is Amazon going to be doing any of that for anyone ever? Of course not. But that's what we lost with this stuff. And sure, a lot of people will end up making a living through Amazon. I would be one of those. But there's also something that has been lost with this, which is those values that used to make a difference and still do wherever it is that you find them. Jeff Kennedy, any update thoughts on Bitcoin and as a useful tool against inflation versus gold, silver? Jeff Kennedy, yes, I think it is. I think it's absolutely worth it. If before I talk any more about Bitcoin, first of all, no, it's not a scam. It's not a scam. Now, does it mean that something's super stable? No, it's actually quite the opposite. Bitcoin is very much changing all the time, dropping 5, 10, 15%, and going up. If you look at the long-term curve, you see it going up steadily. It's worth a freaking fortune now, and every soul in this planet wishes they would have bought Bitcoin a few years ago. And I don't think that's changing anytime soon. But before I go on, don't spend anything on Bitcoin that you're not willing to lose. It's really not all that much of a, it's not even, is it an investment? I don't think it goes by the definition of what an investment is. A real investment generates income for you. Bitcoin, you may end up selling it for a profit, but it's not something that's going to be creating, a steady flow of income for you. That's what a real investment is. Even buying gold is not an investment. It's hedge against inflation. And when you look at that, Bitcoin is a great hedge, I think, against inflation, because Bitcoin keeps going up as time goes by, and nothing seems to keep up with it, at least not at that rate. Whatever Bitcoin you have, I think it's something. And the big advantage is that if you want to sell it, you can sell it instantly. I mean, I've been into Bitcoin for several years now. The only thing I regret is not having bought more of it back in the day. And so my advice for anyone thinking, okay, well, this Bitcoin, honestly, use the link that I have below in my videos about Coinbase. If you're going to be putting money into Bitcoin, that is by far the safest thing to do. And with your cell phone, you'll keep track of it very easily, and you'll start to understand a little bit better how it works. So using the link, the referral link below that I have there, it's if you buy $100, it gives you $110 worth of income. So you get a 10% bonus there with the link from the affiliates, and I get the $10 for bringing the new accounts to Coinbase. So I get $10 of it as well, right? Which is it's fantastic. It's great. Anytime both of us benefit from it, that's great. But if you're looking at trying out Bitcoin a little bit, go with Coinbase. It's not just because I use it. It's a tracking basis. Yeah, of course, Josh. Oh, Coinbase does a good job of tracking bases too. Anything that you're gonna be doing through Coinbase, that's information that's gonna be there in the net. And what you want to do is, I mean, if you're gonna be putting $100 in Coinbase now, the FBI is not gonna be kicking your door down because you bought $100 or $1,000 in Coinbase. All right, so if you're gonna be putting $100 or a couple $100, yeah, don't worry all that much. Coinbase will steal from you. No, like why? It's the thing is this: $100 in Coinbase. Follow it, see how it works. If you then want to buy more of it, and you think, okay, a few months went by, I'm starting to become more knowledgeable about this, and you want to buy more, what you do is not leave it there in Coinbase. You move that to your own private wallet. Create a cold wallet, says Saint Fierro. Yes, exactly. It's not that by the amount of security that Coinbase has, I have never seen anything like that, because it doubles and triple checks anything before it allows you to move anything. So Coinbase is super safe. And I don't think Coinbase, it used to be, especially in the beginning, there were some of these companies that, some of these cryptocurrencies trading companies, that some of these guys, when they realized how much it was worth, they just closed store and stole people's money. Coinbase is big enough now that I don't feel that's a threat. Josh, I lost crypto in Coinbase due to me not following directions. They work to locate it and get it back to me. Well, man, you were lucky. I don't even know how they did that, because yeah, you were lucky, because if you had moved that to your own private wallet and you lose your own key, nothing can be done about that. Coinbase cannot help you with that. Maybe you lost the password or something within Coinbase, but if you move it out of, and this is the thing about the thing about Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, especially with Bitcoin, it's all on you. If you move that out of the Coinbase account and you move it to your own cold wallet or a hardware wallet, which is what I recommend. A hardware wallet is like a small USB with a password, and it is the safest way, because you also have like a word, a sheet of paper where you combine a few words. If you do it right, a hardware wallet is by far the most bomb-proof way of keeping your crypto safe. But it's all on you. If you lose that, you're screwed. There's no one that's going to be getting that money out for you. It is all lost forever and ever, and nothing can be done. At the same time, if you are responsible and not unlucky in that sort of thing, it's going to be untouchable. No matter what they do, what they try, they cannot take that away from you unless they literally put a gun to your head or throw you in prison until you give it up. But this is the point. If we've reached that point, maybe I don't want to be in a country that is threatening me with jail if I don't give up my Bitcoin. Maybe that's the moment where I leave said country and use said Bitcoin to get started elsewhere. And that's something that, I mean, you see it in Ukraine, you've seen it in Venezuela, you see it in Argentina, in Africa, all of these countries that have gone through very trying times. Cryptocurrency has been a wonderful tool for a lot of them. A lot of people in Venezuela live by Bitcoin. That's how they manage to live in a country where the economy crashed completely. So again, I'm not completely objective here, because I think that it may end up fulfilling the famous Bitcoin prophecy of when a Bitcoin is worth $1 million, a dollar is not going to be mattering anymore. It's only going to be mattering how much anything is worth in terms of Bitcoin, right? So I think that's a strong possibility. It may end up blowing up tomorrow, and tomorrow everyone just gives up their cryptocurrency. And I've seen enough crashes already where it's dropped a lot, where Bitcoin crashed and then it just, resurfaced and resurged from the ashes like the phoenix. So yeah, at least that's my position. Anyway, if you want to get started, give that a go with Tales from the Crypto. I am in cash and PM. You know what? Precious metals are great, but I cannot do the things I can do with cryptocurrency, with gold. If I want to sell my silver right now, man, I would be taking a pretty big hit, no doubt. I still like having my silver and gold. I think it's a great idea, and historically speaking, it is by far the most proven form of wealth. Right? It's historically, it's always been our currency, but as a species. But with cryptocurrency, if I need money right now, I can go and just in a few seconds have that money in an account, wherever that account may be. But I can sell that cryptocurrency and have that money ready to use in seconds. And if you're smart about this and you have your wallet separate, and you have accounts, a couple accounts in a couple different places, and be smart about that too, there's a lot of things you can do so as to protect yourself and your savings from some of the more dramatic economic crisis or economic collapses. Zane Fierro says Monero is way better than Bitcoin. I don't know, man. I've seen Bitcoin around for a while now, and Bitcoin seems to be the one that is. Bitcoin for me is like the gold of cryptocurrencies. It's the first one. It's the one that everyone seems to want as the most valuable one. So other things may come and go, and other things may be even more. I mean, we're in uncharted waters here. Maybe something else becomes a more. Bitcoin has the problem that there's a cost for the transaction, so it's a way of storing large amounts of wealth, but not so great as a day-to-day transaction. So I think that Bitcoin will be the gold of tomorrow, and something else will become like the day-to-day use silver, right? Something that hasn't got that much of a harsh cost for using as a day-to-day currency. Was looking to become aware of silver in 2009, loaded up at $11-12. Yeah, that's nice. People will be searching for their forgotten traps on exchanges. Yeah, absolutely. Silver, gold, platinum is all good. For years, I thought crypto was Superman's dog. Imagine my surprise. I can sell gold, silver bars on demand. Yeah, maybe you have a place, but you still need to, the premiums are quite high. So whatever you do, maybe you have a good place, but in general, the premiums are hitting you pretty hard if you're selling precious metals. Never put all your eggs in one basket. Yes, exactly. That's what I mean. Have different. Have options. Options are always good. The more of those you have, the better. Of course, some of them make more sense than others. So whenever someone says, "Yeah, I have $10,000 in canned dog food because that's what I've seen Mad Max eat in the movies," dude, yes, that's not a great investment that you're doing. That's your plan. But precious metals, some cash in hand, different accounts in different places, and being smart about that too. Those give you the important tools that you may end up needing one day. Faith RV Trip. I use Texas Bullion Depository for storage. Well, about that, I wouldn't trust it. I want to have it under my own control, right? People have been burned very bad with these storage units, and yeah, we keep silver for you, we keep your gold for you. It's out of your hands. I mean, it's literally working like a bank. Bank used to be this. Banks used to be the place where you left your gold and silver and you traded ownership of that precious metal with a piece of paper. That piece of paper eventually became fiat currencies, and then even not even that. It was not even an IOU for actual money, precious metal that you actually had, but nothing. It is, man. I don't know. I would rather have it on my own control. I'm afraid that leaving your precious metals in the hands of others, especially in very hard times, it's very unlikely to be there when you need it. At least that's the way I see it. I wouldn't trust anyone with something like that. Cash out PMs at any coin, jewelry, pawn, or PM dealer. Faith, inflation is also theft. Just wondering which is best. For example, bank protects from theft, nothing in interest versus no protection but higher returns. Yeah, well, banks will have no problem in stealing from you when they see the opportunity. And yes, inflation is theft. Inflation is stealing from the poorest people in the world, even more so than the middle class, and taking that money straight into the pockets of those printing that money themselves. That's basically what inflation means. And the elite benefits, the ones that benefit the most, are of course the people printing that money. Surprise, surprise, right? But inflation is cruel. Inflation is very vicious because it's going to be hitting the poorest the hardest, and the middle class is not going to be spared. And the more up that ladder you are, the less you're going to be affected by inflation. But yeah, it is a theft, no doubt. Some also describe it as a tax on the poor, because the poorer you are, the more inflation takes away from you. Follow the gold silver ratio, geocache your PMs. Yeah. Be careful though. Don't want to lose those. Guards can shave a little off every bar. Well, that used to be a thing, right? They would just steal a little bit, but there's been more than enough accounts of people that when they asked for their bullion, there were some excuses. Oh yeah, we cannot get it right now, and people realize we are not, we're not getting our money, and some people got lucky and some didn't. But whenever your money is in the hands of others, man, even if it's a bank, it's out of your control. Even more so with precious metals and these storage services. Guys, it's gonna be all. I hope I kept you company for a while. If you have any last questions, let me know here. But yeah, it's been over an hour and it's been great. I had fun. I don't know about. Let me know, you guys, what you think. It was good. Keep a minimum of $1,000 on hand. Have some silver, gold, and have a decent stash of crypto. I would have at least a month worth of expenses in cash. That makes a lot of sense. And the famous question of how much a month of expensive minimum in cash, bare minimum. And if you have the opportunity of having even more, I would go with a number the following way: enough money for a plane ticket for every family member, so as to get myself to whatever bug outing of the country location I have in mind, and enough money to live there for 6 months. That would be a nice rainy day cash stash to have. And if you can back that up with precious metals in a similar amount, even better, and also with crypto. But yeah, the idea of, if I find myself in a Ukrainian position of we have to leave here and start life elsewhere, that's going to be more useful, more powerful, and a much better tool than pretty much anything else that you have in those worst case scenarios, right? But again, covering different bases, having options. Guys, yeah, thank you for your time. Scott Hammer, thank you guys for being here. Thanks everyone for the super chats and for the messages and for keeping me company. Any recommendations on properly burying stuff? Smitty, man, that's a huge topic. First advice is make sure that you're burying in the right place. That's somewhere that you remember, somewhere that you have down to the GPS location. That's always mandatory. and protecting it the right way. Gold and silver are not so much of a problem, but for guns, someone was asking me about burying guns. I would go with the famous PVC tube, vacuum sealed in a food saver and covered in calcium grease, right? That would be my advice for that. Love your show. Thanks, man. Thanks, Verfal. Thank you. I appreciate good mix, useful topics. Thanks, man. An Australian chick on YouTube who you can tell never worked a day in her life said to keep your medals in private banks. That's yeah, and you know what? With YouTubers, you have to be careful of what's the interest. Because I'm quite honest about lots of these things. I have my books, my stuff, the links for stuff in Amazon. You get a cut on that stuff. It's not affecting the price of people buying any of it, but maybe she has a very nice cut from a company that stores precious metals, which it is a thing. I've had offers of several companies that I honestly didn't know about, so I didn't feel comfortable putting a link. I worked my ass off for this channel over the years. It's not huge or anything, but I've been working a lot on it. And I'll be damned if I just throw away my reputation for something I don't trust. I recommend Coinbase because I've been using it myself for many years. And whenever I recommend it for people that want to give it a try, I always insist, be careful with this stuff. Don't put anything you're not willing to lose, because that may well be the case. So with those disclaimers, I make such recommendations. But it may well be the case that this YouTube chick is getting a very nice cut for every client she sends their way. And if those people one day close doors, I don't know, she's going to be affected that much. But do your own homework, research before you do anything. Even whatever I say here, better to do your own research. Find out for yourself if it makes sense or not, okay? Anyway, one reliable container for caches. Cool, thanks. Bought some gold bags and really like them. Thank you, even though I disagree with Fernando. Sometimes I'm still on the same page. Yeah, of course. Man, if we cannot disagree with stuff and still, keep on talking and sharing ideas, that's why we used to be able to do. This is something that back in the day, back in the caveman era, it wasn't that long ago that families in America, you had Democrats, Republicans sitting in the same table, and there's been families breaking apart over politics in the United States. I warned you guys about this even with Obama. Obama was maybe the guy that escalated this to the next level. It used to be, before Obama, you had Republicans and Democrats in the same family sitting in the same table, and no one walked away from one another and stopped talking. After Obama, all of that changed, and probably he had his fair share of blame for all of that. Anyway, yeah, I'm losing my voice here, guys. I'm running out of my voice is going. Take care, folks. It was awesome. Thanks. See you on the next one. Take care.